Hey, this is Kamori, and today we're going to talk about how to choose a cosplay name. Now, this is something that I've seen popped up on threads in various cosplay forums from time to time of cosplayers who are getting into the hobby and are trying to come up with a name to refer to themselves as in the cosplay community. Now, this is pretty much a personal decision, so a lot of it comes down to you. But we're going to talk about a few ideas to think about to help narrow down your choices. The first thing to think about is, what do you like? Make a list of things that you're into, things that you like, words that describe you, and just make a list of them. And then pick and choose and play around with them, switch them around, and see if you get a combination that you think suits you and you think would make a good cosplay name. Next, think about how easy is it to pronounce, to spell, and for people to remember. Especially if you're planning on entering like cosplay competitions or other like really social events where you're going to be introducing yourself to others through that cosplay name. For example, my username that I use on everything, Komori no Hime, is derived from the Japanese language. So I've found that if I'm interacting with cosplayers who are not really into anime or who aren't really as into Japanese culture or Japanese pop culture, they tend to struggle with that name. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're trying to come up with your handle. On the flip side, try and come up with something that's unique. Because if you go with something that's a little too generic, it can easily be confused with other cosplayers who have similar names, and your work won't shine by itself if it's constantly getting jumbled in with a whole bunch of other cosplayers. Another thing to think about is, what type of image or connotation does your name bring along with it? It may seem really funny to have like a vulgar or a crude cosplay name, but that's also something that is then going to be attached with your work, so just something to keep in mind. Another thing to think about is this name going to suit you long term? I'm assuming you want to cosplay for a long time, so you're going to want a name that can continue to travel with you through your cosplay adventures. So if you're thinking about doing something from your latest fandom, you may want to really sit down and consider that, because people's interests in series change, the direction of series change, so if you're thinking about a specific character or a specific series to draw your name from, you may want to sit down and rethink that a little bit. One more thing to consider is privacy. Some cosplayers put their full name out there for their cosplay handle. They'll do their first name, their last name, boom. That makes it easy, but that also means that that is more personal information of yours that is out there on the internet, so it depends on what you're comfortable with. A middle ground that I've seen cosplayers do is to take their first name and their middle name and omit their last name and use that as their cosplay handle if they still want to have it tie into their personal life. And lastly, is anyone else already using that name? Once you've come up with a list of ideas for cosplay names, do a quick Google search of them and see if another cosplayer is already using that name and already has an account established under that name. If that's the case, then unfortunately, you gotta cross it off and keep going down your list. And those were some suggestions on how to come up with a cosplay name. If you have any other suggestions, please let me know in the comments below, and if you have a funny story associated with choosing your cosplay name, let me know that as well. Thank you very much for watching. For more cosplay and cosplay sewing videos, please subscribe. Bye.